Hey boxing fans, welcome to another edition of Boxing for Real. I'm your host, Don Omega. I am Truth, with me as always. Today we're talking, well, we'll start with some news.
Better than the fights we saw today. So.
Okay, first let's go to Jermaine Taylor news. We got some people wanting to fight Jermaine Taylor. First, Edison Miranda, who just came off the domination of Alan Green. He's called Jermaine Taylor out. He actually has a video out there on the web calling Jermaine Taylor out. That would be quite an interesting fight, quite an interesting matchup. And, I mean, I would definitely just, based on Miranda's aggressiveness, I would have to kind of favor him in that fight.
I'd go with Miranda as well. Just too powerful, I think, and he'd come after him the whole time. Taylor wouldn't have enough to keep him off of him, I don't think.
And sometimes when Taylor has backed up, he hasn't done well enough that would be able to keep Miranda off.
Yeah.
And also calling Jermaine Taylor out or wanting to fight him is Roy Jones Jr. This is in discussion as a possibility. The way it would work, basically, Jones Jr. and Taylor would have
separate belts.
Two separate belts on the same card to
Jones on the undercard.
To generate interest in the fight, to showcase Taylor and showcase Roy Jones against an opponent that HBO sorry ass would actually accept. They accept Mikkel Kessler as a main event.
Ray Austin as a main event. So.
Well, at least Ray Austin wasn't the one supposed to win the match.
Yeah.
Mikkel Kessler is supposed to win the match.
Absolutely.
And that's just pathetic. But not Roy Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who he's fighting.
Yeah, it's Roy Jones, so put him on HBO.
He's definitely done enough for that network.
Absolutely. Him and De La Hoya carried it for over 10 years, basically. So.
I mean, come on. Anyhow, that's possibility. Jones and Taylor on a co-feature fight where Jones would probably be the undercard.
Yeah.
You can call it co-feature all you want, but it's undercard if you're not the
last fight. Yeah.
Shown at least.
Yes.
And
Taylor versus Mora, of course, is the main event. Sergio Mora. So
anyhow, that's that. Let's move right along. Zab Judah versus Ruben Gallivan. That is the opponent that would be fighting Zab Judah. Galvin or Galvin, whatever you want to call him.
Maybe some people remember him.
Very few of you probably remember him, but he was on the
Mayweather Gaddy undercard. Fought Chavez Jr. Got destroyed in 4 rounds. Will admit he did take a lot of punishment. It was tough to finally get him out of there, but that was Chavez Jr., not Zab Judah. That was also at 140, as if it matters what weight, really. This is Zab Judah. It's a first-round knockout, for sure.
This guy has also been victim of several other people.
He's only been knocked out the one time, but second time's coming. April 13th, for sure.
In about a round.
Yeah, there's no way it'll get out of a round. I really don't think.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Also,
definitely first-round knockout there.
Also a devil worshipper or some fad like that.
Yep, comes out to devil worshipping music and everything, and hope he does this time for sure. Anyhow, also Zab Judah is saying that Felix Trinidad is picking Judah to knock Cotto out in 4 rounds. That's coming from Zab Judah. He said he was willing to let people question Trinidad about that if he made that pick. So, anyhow, not that it really matters. It's just some news, but. Apparently, if that's true, Trinidad's picking Zab Judah versus his countryman.
And him and Cotto are supposedly pretty good friends, so that's interesting.
Trinidad sees it, we know what his father would say.
Trinidad's making a good pick, if he did make the pick.
Yep, definitely. I don't know if it'll... That's pretty early. But
yeah, I'm saying 5, so...
Anyhow, also, the big fight we saw last week, or as of this recording at least, last week, Marquez versus Vasquez 2. We might get a rematch of that in August or September. looking more like September now, actually. I think that's a little soon for that rematch, but there's not a lot of fights around that division.
Yeah, so I guess that's probably his best option still. So, but I mean, he absolutely dominated him and made him quit. So that doesn't leave much to be answered. So.
I mean, I don't see how people are going to look as forward to this fight, given that the last one, Vasquez quit.
Yeah, he quit. So I mean,
and he never really looked close, even though he did knock Marquez down. Yeah, I guess there's that, but I mean, Marquez got up,
and he pretty much won the rest of that round as well. Even so, that was just the big point in the fight for Vasquez, and that was basically it. Marquez basically dominated the whole fight. So
absolutely. Then I don't see the rematch going any differently, except maybe ending even earlier, possibly.
Yeah, I could see it ending later because I'm sure he won't quit this time, maybe. But I mean, either way, it's gonna.
I don't see what is convincing Vasquez right now what'll keep him from getting his nose broken again.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he will definitely get his nose broken again.
It's another knockout for Marquez.
Yeah, that's the way I see it, and definitely will pick it.
Yeah.
Anyhow, other fights that could be really explosive fights, although I think it'll be pretty one-sided myself. Jorge Arce and Vic Darchinyan.
Yeah.
Both guys are wanting to fight. To Darchinyan's credit, he is wanting the fight.
Yeah.
But right now, Bob Arum is the roadblock, not letting Arce have the fight, not letting Darchinyan have the fight.
Because of the lawsuit, him and Gary Shaw have.
Because of a stupid grudge.
Yeah.
This is how Bob Arum works. He takes things real personally.
And he ruins fights that could be made.
And he not only ruins, he tries to ruin.
Yeah, absolutely.
He purposefully tries to sabotage boxing.
Yeah. And
by
he's doing a good
trying
job.
to keep fights like this from happening.
And same with the Golden Boy people. He won't match any of his fighters
Instead,
with them,
what Arum will probably do is put Arce versus some nobody, like Cape guy that he fought, on a pay-per-view that no one will order.
Yeah.
And just Arce's trying to build himself into a star. Arum will do this by putting him on a pay-per-view that no one's going to order because he's not that star yet. Not to main event a pay-per-view.
That completely screws Arce over, of course, by doing that.
Because he wins a fight spectacularly, but nobody one sees it.
Yeah.
I mean, we see it, but
of course,
most people don't.
Absolutely. And he does.
And those weights are hard to sell anyhow.
Absolutely.
Stupidly as it is, they're hard to sell. But anyhow, that fight, hopefully they'll get that fight. Hopefully Arum will come to his senses or die or something.
Yeah. Preferably the second one.
The latter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyhow, I mean, I sure won't cry.
Yeah.
But
I will for joy.
I'm not going to piss on his grave, though. I won't do that. I hate standing in long lines.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, Darchinyan's supposed to be back June, July on a Dawson undercard.
Yeah, and that's another piece of news.
And also,
Chad Dawson.
And Arce, of course, is fighting Christian Pares.
April 14th.
And then maybe the fight could get made, hopefully. That'd be great for June or July right there.
Yeah. Or even a little later, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. This year it needs to happen.
Definitely.
Anyhow, moving right along, Ludabella said he wants his fighter Andre Berto to fight Apke Urkel next. He said he's ready to put Berto in there against Urkel. I don't know how willing Urkel will be after coming off such a beating.
Devastating loss to Cotto for 11 rounds. That's a big step up for Berto just because Urkel is very tough, as we've seen several times now. But it's a very good step up for Berto, and if he can knock him out, that's really a good feather in his cap, I guess you could say.
I mean, I see why they're wanting the fight, but I don't think Urkel's going to be wanting it coming off that Cotto loss. That tough of a fight, and him being his age.
Yeah, he's 37, 38, something like that.
Up there, yeah. And
So
Who
toward the end of
knows?
his career,
But at least they're looking to put Berto in against someone of that caliber.
somebody like that. So
Probably next in his next fight.
yeah,
Which I think is a good move and a right move.
or somebody like
I think
David
he's-
Estrada, somebody
Yeah,
like that.
I think that's the right direction to be looking for his next fight.
Definitely.
He's just creaming his opponent, so go ahead. And this fight, Glenn Johnson versus Julio Gonzalez, IBF Eliminator, has been signed for May 11th. Don't really care about that match. This just Glenn Johnson should be fighting Chad Dawson.
Yeah. Or a rematch with Roy Jones.
That would be a much, either one of those would be much
The Dawson
more important fights.
would make sense.
Forget
more.
about that IBF Eliminator and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Well, that might it is an IBF eliminator.
it is IBF Eliminator.
That might actually work out because Jones probably will be fighting Clinton Woods before the year is out, hopefully, and he'll pick up that IBF belt, and hopefully Johnson wins the eliminator, and there you go, rematch. Hopefully it works out that way.